Okay, I am really freaking excited because I have my dear friend Erin here today. Okay, so for people who don't know you and haven't been following you guys, she's at Fit Rocker Chick. So you've probably heard about her if you've been in the health and wellness space at all, because you were pretty big in that space for quite a while. But I would love for you to just share a little bit about who you are and give us your story, because you have had some pretty incredible things happen over the last couple of years. Many evolutions.
So many. Yeah, I feel like I'm Cher. I just keep reinventing myself. Yeah. So hi guys, I'm Erin. Like Jen said, you might know me as Fit Rocker Chick. I have been a touring musician my entire life. I've played with acts like Hailstorm, Neon Trees, Evanescence. I've had songs as a songwriter featured on MTV, Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Fuse TV, and lots of really amazing cool places. Right now, I am also the founder of the She's a Rock Chick Girl Gang, and I'm the creator of Skin, which is a non-toxic oil-based skincare line. But really and truly, I am just your unfiltered, willing to talk about anything big sister. I like to think of myself as a shorter, whiter version of Dwayne Johnson, like The Rock, just slightly less masculine and
a little bit
equally as intense. So I have had many evolutions, as Jen said. I have been a musician my whole life. I got really into health and wellness for a lot of years, still am into health and wellness. I just adopted it as part of who I am. It's just part of my core being. I've been a trainer, and I'm a creator, and yeah.
Well, did you start in network marketing? Was that your first introductory to entrepreneurship?
To running my own business, yeah. I like to say I'm completely unemployable, 100% unemployable. I just can't have someone tell me what to do. The instant you tell me I have to be somewhere at a specific time, I'm like, yeah, no, that's not going to work for me. Mm-mm. So, in high school, I was singing still. And that was when I started singing in show choirs. And I did work regular jobs for a few years until I realized that's not going to work for me. And then I always consider being a musician my own business, because the art is within me and I have to put it out there into the world. And there's no blueprint for that. You just kind of are on a wing and a prayer, similar to entrepreneurship. But when I first started my own, what I would consider business, what's the word I'm looking for?
Not selling internet services or selling a product. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. That was with network marketing with Beachbody. Mm-hmm. And I had gotten, I was a touring musician on the road. You're faced with Taco Bell, McDonald's, sitting on your butt for 24 hours, and then having to do a gig at 11 p.m. and staying up till 3 a.m. and then you want to eat pizza, and then it's not good for the figure. You know what I'm saying? And so meanwhile, everybody else was eating all these things, and I was like, I actually don't feel very good, and my leather pants are getting tight. So I started working out, which was a new concept, and I started learning about food and everything, and really got into health and fitness, and I loved it. And I started sharing with people what I was doing while I was out on the road, and they would just ask me what workout I was doing or what I was eating, and I shared it with them. So finding something like Beachbody to be my on-ramp to building my own business was a beautiful thing, because it was something I was already into and already doing.
Yeah. And you are just really gifted at just very genuinely selling, essentially, but you're just sharing what you love.
Yeah.
And your followers just, they want to buy it. They're like, tell me everything that you're doing, which is why you're the big sister. So then you were with Beachbody for a while, and then you totally, well, I don't want to say totally pivoted, but kind of shifted into thyroid. And I actually remember back when I was a Beachbody coach, one of the people who was on my team coming to me, finding out she had Hashimoto's. It was before we had even met. And I said to her, I was like, she was freaked out by it. She was really young. And I said, you need to go follow Fit Rocker Chick, because she is your person. And she messaged you, and she was like, oh my God, she was so nice. She wrote me back. And it was this cool thing. And I've actually shared that story, not specifically about you, but shared that with people when I talk about the power of having a niche and having a specialty, because you were the first person that I thought of when she came with that problem. But yeah, so then you transitioned into that because you were having some health stuff of your own.
Yeah. So I was diagnosed with hypothyroidism. I guess it was, I think I blacked out during that. So I'm like, was it 6 or 7 years ago? I'm really not sure. I think
Yeah.
I blacked out. So when I was diagnosed with that, it felt like, I was like, what the heck? I'm doing everything right. I'm working out. I'm eating right. Like I'm chasing, all my dreams, and like, what in the world? But I felt really terrible. I felt so tired, and I'm a very energetic person. And my husband was coming home from work, and he'd find me asleep on the floor in my office because I did not have the energy to take myself down the hall to my bed. But in addition to that, I felt shame. Like, what's wrong with me? Like, I don't need to take a nap. Like, I don't need to go to sleep right now. What's wrong with me? So I thought I was having some sort of weird life crisis. And yeah. And then, it's just the symptoms that come with a thyroid issue are really, really gnarly. There's like weight gain and depression and anxiousness, and you're super cold, lots of food intolerances, and like the whole thing. But I didn't know that. When I got the diagnosis, I was like, huh? What now? I'm doing all the right things. And I just remember being in that doctor's office saying, no, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to have this. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to have this. I'm going to figure this out. Because I had a feeling something got me into it. And I was like, I just need to figure out what got me into it, and then I can get myself out. So then I went on this quest to figure out what it was. And I figured it out, and I've been in remission for a really, really long time now. And like my body completely resetted, and I was able to completely heal my body and like live my life again. Wow. But during that period of time, as an entrepreneur, this, you're always teaching what you know. Mm-hmm. And I was going through it, and I thought, if I cannot be the only one. And the amount of shame that's attached to a thyroid issue, because you think you're lazy, you think you're losing your damn mind, you think that you're just fat, even though you're doing all the right things. And it's a very miserable place to be. And I don't think that there's a lot of knowledge around that.
Yeah.
And I don't think that there's a lot of support around the internal feeling of that. And so I wanted to be that for people. So yeah, so I went into creating a course called Thyroid Jumpstart that I ran for a lot of years, and helped hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of women. And it was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think even what you just said about for a lot of moms, for a lot of entrepreneurs, there is that kind of who am I to take a nap, or who am I to slow down? What's wrong with me that I'm doing this? And I think just even you sharing that, I think really gives people that permission of like, hey, you're not the only person that has ever felt that way, and it's okay to rest. And like, if your body's telling you to rest, there's potentially something else going on, or maybe you really just need sleep and you're sleep deprived, and like fighting that doesn't solve anything.
Fighting that doesn't give you more energy, babes.
No.
Like, sometimes you need a vacation. Sometimes you need a nap. Sometimes what's causing you to be physically tired is that you're actually mentally exhausting yourself. Sometimes what's causing you to be physically tired is that there's actually something physically going on. And it's our responsibility as the owners of our bodies to be responsible and to give our bodies a voice, and our body's trying to tell us something, to listen to that. And ignoring that doesn't get you very far. Your body will only let you go so far down the wrong road before it's like, yo, sister, full stop. Like, we're not doing what you want anymore. And so I've just found over the years that really listening to your body, when it comes to being tired, needing more energy, mental exhaustion, the emotional stuff that we hold on to that keeps us from being able to really function as we want to. We keep pressing through the hard times instead of like, sometimes what we need is, to take a break.
Yeah. Like,
and giving ourselves the permission to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. So like for you were doing that for quite a few years, and then you kind of started transitioning out of that, and you pivoted again.
Yeah.
Like, you are just like truly the Madonna of like the online space. And so many of us are, right? And I think it's just beautiful to even hear this for so many newer entrepreneurs who, are like, they're like, I'm a life coach, but I think I want to talk about thyroid, or I'm doing thyroid, and I think I want to, teach business or whatever it is. And I think this really just, even hearing your story, is giving them permission to like expand and evolve. So
Yeah. As an entrepreneur, something I wish I would have known early on is, full permission to evolve and to
Yeah.
change and to pivot. And just because you're doing something right now doesn't mean you have to do it forever.
Yeah.
Being an entrepreneur is doing your own thing and giving yourself permission to do your own thing. For me, the evolution away from thyroid content into more lifestyle, confidence, being authentic, skincare and everything that I do now was a natural progression for me. When I began to be in remission, I thought, I get my life back now. And I
Mm.
wanted to show people this is the evolution. Like you can watch my life and you can see that there's life after this. Like that's the evolution, and you can have that too. So it wasn't like I'm not going to help people with thyroid issues anymore because I'm going to do this now. It's like I want people to watch my life and be able to see what's possible. So if they're watching my life and they're seeing that once I have a thyroid issue, I'm always in it, I'm always in it, I'm always in it, that's not very inspiring for people. I want them to see that I can feel like me again, and I can do the things that I was once into again, and I can get breathed life back into again. And if I can do it, they can do it, because there's nothing different from me, nothing different about me than about everybody else.
Yeah, I love that. You're such a role model for, like, I mean, so many women. And like you say, you're like the big sister. So kind of now that you transition kind of just through your own life and story, now speaking to more lifestyle stuff, which I kind of think you were sharing already.
Yeah.
And I know you were in a place where you're like, I don't know, people, this is what they want, but this is what I keep giving them. And like, tell us a little bit about what that was like, because I think this is important for people to just make note of this so that they can become more aware of what their audience is telling them.
Yeah. So when I was in the health space, there began to be this whole audience of people I couldn't help. They wanted more of what I had to offer. They were curious about what I had to offer, but there was no real way. Like maybe they didn't have a thyroid issue. Maybe they were good, as far as nutrition. Like there was nothing really for them. But all the while, like I've been into fashion and style and like skin and hair and all the things my whole life. Like I'm not Kardashian level, guys, but I'm like, all right, I'm like teetering. I'm like right there. So I've been into it. So I've always shared it. It's always just been a part of who I am. There was this part of my audience that was like repeatedly asking me over and over for, makeup tips, hair tips, style tips, and all these things. And I actually really wanted to share that stuff more. It just felt like it didn't make sense. And I felt like I was going to confuse my audience. And you know how entrepreneurs, we always get like wound up. Oh, is the messaging confusing? It's me being my authentic self going to confuse people, like how dare I have like multi-passionate, things. But
Yeah.
so Jen and I are in the same mastermind. And so I went to the mastermind group and I was like, hey guys, here is where I'm at. My audience is asking me for more lifestyle. They want to know how I have confidence. They want to know how I like navigate daily life and am happy and have overcome different things. And they want to know about fashion and hair and makeup and all the things. And I'm dying to share that. That sounds so fun. It sounds so delicious. How can it be? But I'm like, I just don't know if that's something I should do and also how I should do it. So I presented it in a question like, should I do a membership community or should I do more like influencer stuff? The influencer stuff did not feel very good to me and very authentic to me, because I never, ever, ever I will never recommend something I don't actually use.
Mm-hmm.
Pay me $10,000. If I wasn't already using it, I'm not doing it. I'm not interested in that whatsoever. So it was unanimous in the mastermind. They're like, membership, and also why haven't you done it 2 years ago? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like unanimous. And so that was the beginning of my She's a Rock Chick Girl Gang, which has been the catalyst to skin, which has been one of the coolest and easiest things I've ever done. And it's amazing. And it's amazing because my audience was asking me for it and I was resistant to give it to them because it felt too easy. It felt like this is so me. This is so authentic. This is so like, it would be easy. I could talk about it all day long and it can't possibly, it's not going to work. It's not going to work because it's so easy. Yeah.
Wow. I need to I'm like, process that for a second. Isn't it so funny how we resist that?
Yes. Why?
Like, what if it could be so easy and people just want to throw money at you? Because you even had, I feel like I remember you saying you had people who did not have any kind of thyroid condition wanting to join your thyroid program just because they wanted to be around you,
Yes.
which is kind of hilarious.
Yeah. I was like, okay, first of all, it's a lot of money for the course. And also you're going to get, I mean, you are going to get more of me, but it's not going to be it's not going to be thyroid content.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah. They were like, I would love to do this. I want to do your course, but I don't have a thyroid issue. I was like, okay.
Okay, so fill us in. So what and I know for like even watching you create this membership, you know, it's kind of unlike a lot of the other memberships or traditional memberships that a lot of other peers of ours were creating. So it kind of was like, is this going to work? What is this going to look like? What am I going to talk about? So like fill us in on how you kind of navigated that.
Well, for a long time, I thought, I don't know what this is, because it is.
Yeah.
There's no model. There's no
Yeah.
blueprint for this, Jen. Like, there's no one doing this. And so I was like, what is this even? What is this going to be? So here's how it went down. I decided to send an email out to a segmented part of my list and just say this: hey guys, I want to create a membership group. I don't know what it is. This is literally like verbatim. I don't know what it's going to be. I have some ideas. I'm thinking more lifestyle. We'll talk about confidence, hair, makeup, you know, clothes, like all those types of things. But I'm really looking for 100 people who will help me kind of create some content in this group and help me mold and shape this membership into what I hope will be something really cool. So we had our 100 people in, oh gosh, numbers aren't my jam. I like 24 hours or
Yeah,
something
it
like
was like so fast.
so fast. And then I'm like, oh, well, now what? You know what I mean? Like, now I don't even know what this is. So we would poll them every single week. I'd say, you know, what do you guys want to talk about this week? And I'd give them some options, you know, like a makeup tutorial, like marriage advice, you know, because I've been with Levi for 19 years, this or that, or whatever. And they would vote, or they would write in what they wanted to talk about. And then I would speak to that. And then it has evolved into like the coolest thing. I mean, just today, I had a girl right in the community. She said, I've been with my husband for 10 years. He just told me today that since joining She's a Rock Chick, that he has been more attracted to me than ever because I'm so much more confident in who I am. And she's like, you know, She's a Rock Chick is priceless. And I'm like, I didn't know. I thought I was going to do hair tutorials. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know that that was going to happen. And so it has evolved because I allowed my audience to tell me, what do you want? I did not have content laid out when I created it. They have created the content. And of course, based on their feedback, we've done really amazing things. And now we do have more of a blueprint. We have more structure in the membership, but it's really been developed by them. And it's really been, I call it my girl gang, because it's like a family, and they feel safe saying things in that group that like they have never said out loud ever before, and doing things. And I'm like completely honored and blown away weekly and daily that I had a small part in creating that safe space for people.
Wow. That's so beautiful. And I think too, like, you really just allowed them to connect with that higher level identity.
Yes.
Of being
It's
able
already
to
in
become
them.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's already in them. It was already there all along. They just forgot. You know what I mean? Like they just needed to be reminded of like what they're actually capable of and who they actually are and what they can actually do and what their life can actually be like. It's just a reminder, you know, and then they're just stepping into that.
Yeah. And I think too, a great point that you made is that, you know, you really allowed your community to help you create and curate what this was going to be. And I just see so many entrepreneurs not taking action, kind of stuck behind the scenes, waiting for, I don't know, waiting for some strike of lightning to come down and for all of their questions to be answered about what their course or what their program is going to look like. And your audience has a good amount of the answers.
Yeah.
Like they're going to co-create this with you. Like their input is going to influence what the brand becomes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, honestly, I, you know, you always get exactly what you need exactly when you need it. Yep. So I can't say that, I wish this would have happened sooner, but I, you know, being open to what your audience is telling you and being open enough to ask them for feedback and, to allow them to kind of mold and shape. It's so easy. It's so easy when you're listening to what your audience wants from you, because what I learned, and this is what I was going to say, I wish I'd known before, my audience wants from me what I want to give.
Yeah.
They go together. So you're like you're fighting yourself, trying to figure out what to do, what as an entrepreneur, what your audience wants. They want what you want to give. Like, I did not know that until this membership, until I really let my audience kind of dictate direction. I'm like, oh my God, this is like exactly what I could have, I never would have even dreamed it would have been this, but it's what I wanted.
And it's easy. And it's working
thing.
so well because it's in total alignment with exactly what you want to give and exactly what they want. And those people came out in droves.
Yeah.
And I think
it's based in authenticity, and its foundation is in helping women to become the woman that they want to be, and to let go of who they've been, and to feel really good about who they are in this moment right now, and to feel excited about who they're going to be in a week, in a month, in a year, in 10 years, and all that.
So good. I think one of the things that is so, like, I admire so much about you is that you're such a strong visionary. Like, you see what the next thing is going to be and like create such a clear vision of what that's going to be. And I mean, recently you've been working on some really cool new projects, and you recently launched a skincare line, which like I was like so impressed by this, because for a lot of the people who, I'm connected to, it's, mostly online courses, and not so many people are stepping into the physical product world. So I would love to hear a little bit of like what that was like and what some of the challenges were.
Oh man. Well, first of all, I literally still pinch myself. I'm like, what in the actual crap is happening? It's so cool that we've been able to do this. But it actually all started at a mastermind. I've wanted to create a skincare line for a long time. I've always been like really into skin, and I've always felt like beautiful skin, you can't beat that. You don't need any mascara. You don't need, a bunch of makeup. Like, if you just have beautiful skin, you just have beautiful skin, and that's fantastic. And so that's always been something that I have been kind of obsessed with. At a mastermind retreat in New York, our friend Amy Porterfield cornered me and said, okay, how old are you? And as being a musician, I have been trained for years to work around that question and to navigate around it and to never say how old I am. And so she was like, why are you being weird? Answer the question. And so I told her, at the time I was 38, now I'm 39. And she goes, no, you're not. You shut your mouth right now, Erin. You are not. And I was like, I am. And she goes, what's your secret? And I said, I don't know, Jesus. I don't know. But I went back to my hotel room that night, and I was washing my face and doing my whole thing. And I just, it's like one of those moments where like you notice things you've never ever noticed before. Yeah. And I noticed that I didn't have any lotion. Like, the hotel had lotion, but I didn't have any lotion. I just had oils, because I'm a huge fan of using oils on my skin. And I was like, wonder if I do have a secret. And because Amy said, what's your secret? And I'm like, I don't know. So I messaged my sister and my team, and I said, hey, do you guys use oils on your skin, right? Like, you use oil in the morning and oil at night, whatever. And they're like, what? No. And why haven't you been telling us about this? And I'm like, what? Like, it was like, I couldn't, it was one of those things that I've been doing for years that I did not know that everyone was not doing. And so we had a meeting the next day, and I was like, if I could actually create an oil-based skincare line that I love, I would love to do that. Here's why. Because what I noticed was that I had so many different oils, because I had never found the perfect ones. Like, some would smell weird, some would feel gritty, some would get rancid because they weren't in the right bottles, and some would just, like, I'd never found the right one. So I had so many. And I was like, if I could do this the right way, I would want to do that. And so we just jumped in, and I will tell you, I had every negative thought and every voice inside my head tried to talk me out of it the whole way. It was like, you're not a dermatologist. You don't know what you're doing. Why are you doing this? Who are you to do this? Yeah. Like, everyone's going to know that you're not an esthetician. Everyone's going to know that you're not a dermatologist. You're not going to go to school for that right now, or like, people, Erin, maybe you're the only one that uses oil on their skin. Why would you do this? This is so dumb, because I did no market research. I didn't care what the trends were.
Yeah.
I wanted to create what I actually use, because I've always had like a weird beef with when celebrities create a skincare line. It's like, oh, cutting edge this and cutting edge that. I'm like, if it's cutting edge, I know you didn't use it. I know that you just started using it, but what did you actually use, Christy Brinkley, looking at you, to like get to where you're at right now, you know? So I wanted to create what I felt like was my secret.
Yeah.
And we've done that, and it's been awesome, but it was hard. I don't want to like make it sound like it was easy, because it was very challenging.
Yeah. I mean, once you guys launched it, I remember you being like, oh my gosh, we just like sold out like that, because everyone was like, please take my money. Here's my credit card. Which is freaking amazing. But I think it really is just a testament to how much you've poured into your audience and how you've shown up for them for years, even back in the day. And you never asked for anything.
Yeah.
Like you never put an offer in front of them. So you do that for enough time and then finally position them, to like finally throwing money at you. Like they can't bite fast enough. So like creating a skincare line, like I'm just curious, what were some of the challenges or some of the things that you know now that you didn't know when you were first going into development?
Oh, anything. I didn't know anything. We spent, as a team, we spent a lot of time on Google. Like we didn't know how to do this. We didn't know anything about packaging, anything about distributing. We didn't know anything about the laws around it. You know, we didn't know anything about shipping and how to get our products to be able to ship internationally. We didn't know about manufacturing and how, like, as a skincare / and or cosmetics company, your manufacturing company is the biggest secret you have. Like they can take everything you have, but like who you use as a manufacturer is like your biggest, you'll never pry it out of the hands of like the top lines. Like it's not going to happen. Yeah, it's like the biggest secret. It's the most important thing, because that's what gives you the quality product. You have to have a great manufacturer. And and you know what was shocking to me, I, as the CEO and creator, I still hand test every single batch before it goes out. So I'm not one that's one and done. We have a new batch. I'm testing it on my actual face before it goes to anyone. And I tested it on my face for ever before it went out, and I tested hundreds and hundreds of oils before we found the perfect one. We wanted to source directly. You know, our squalane is directly from Italy. Our argan is directly from Morocco. Like we wanted to do things right, but we didn't know anything.
Wow.
We knew nothing about how to do any of this, and we had to navigate that and figure that out.
That's amazing. I mean, just to totally
we didn't know if it was going to make money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I wanted to create something that was super affordable and making money. I'm not motivated by money. I know a lot of people are. That's not like, it's way down on my list. So, you know, like, but as a business owner, I have to be like, but this sounds fun, but is it actually going to be profitable so that we can continue doing it and serve people well? And, you know, and also have a low enough price point that it's affordable. So that's like a whole thing too, you know?
And what has like launching that skin line done for you, for your business, for your community?
I mean, first of all, I will say that it's made myself and my team feel like we could do anything.
Yeah.
We could do anything. If we can do that, we can do anything. And the reason why I say that, I listened to a podcast recently with Jamie Kern, who is the creator of It Cosmetics, and she sold her company for $1 billion to L'Oreal. And like in the first time in history, L'Oreal kept her on as a CEO. And brilliant stuff. But when she launched It Cosmetics, which was like 10 years ago, something like that, maybe 11, they launched the product and nothing sold. Like, she thought the website was broken. Her husband built the website using a book called HTML for Dummies because they couldn't afford a web designer. And then she thought the website was broken because no one was buying it. And it took a long time for people to start buying it. And for us, we sold out in like the first freaking 8 hours of our first launch. And so I'm very aware of how blessed we are. I'm very aware of like the people who went before me and us and like paved that way and created that opportunity and left tracks so that I can kind of like create my own little blueprint around this and kind of navigate it. I'm just so thankful for that. But so in addition to feeling like we could do anything, like world domination, here we come, is, you know, I feel like it's allowed for the first time people who have never got to meet me in person to have a piece of me in their home. And that has been so special for me. Like, it makes me weepy to think that like my this brand that I thought up years ago is sitting on people's sinks, you know, on their, with their cosmetics, and like that they're using it and that it's making them feel beautiful. I can't even talk about it. I can't even talk about it. It's just the coolest thing.
Yeah. Oh, that's really beautiful. And I've heard people talk about that with, you know, writing a book and like being next to somebody's bed, like the power of that. But like with that too, like somebody is basically connecting with your brand on a daily basis.
Yeah. And you know how much you have to trust someone to trust them with your face?
Yes.
You know? And like, people trust me with their face. And that's
You've got a
exciting.
great face.
But I mean, like, and people send me their before and afters, and skin is making their acne go away, and it's making them feel more confident, and it's making them feel like they're glowing, and like and people who've been through really hard things are using it to like heal. And
So many beautiful.
It's just like, I can't even talk about it. It makes me emotional.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Oh, so good. And I mentioned before, like, I just admire so much of like how you are such a powerful visionary. And I would love to just talk really quick a little bit about like building a team and really being that visionary. This is kind of a selfish question because I just like want to know like what that looks like for you, and like, yeah, like what that means for you to be the visionary.
Well, I make sure that everyone who comes on my team knows the vision, whether I can see a month ahead, whether I can, because everyone, or I guess I shouldn't say everyone. I go in seasons. Sometimes I can see a month ahead. Sometimes I can see a year. Sometimes I can see 10 years. And that moves and changes because we evolve, you know, and we change and we grow and we learn things, and we thought we wanted this and now we don't. So I make sure that everyone who's on my team is clear on the vision. And if I have an inkling of something I'm adding to the vision, I make sure the team knows that. Like, the team knows, hey, I want to add this to the vision. So this is grand scheme. This is what I'm thinking for the future, because I want them to be as excited and as invested as I am. And even people that have been on our team that are not on our team anymore have said to me, I'm so thankful I got to be a part of this. And I am so proud that I got to be a part of that vision, and I still support the vision. And so for me, just communicating, this is what we're working for. Cause like I said, I'm not motivated by money. This is what we're working so hard for. And this is what gets us excited every day. In addition to that, as a visionary, I refer to my business as ours with everything. I would not be able to do this by myself. So everything I do, I refer to as we. You know, like when I'm speaking in public, like when I'm writing posts, I rarely refer to it as my company, as my business. I always say ours and what we're doing. And we did this because I want them to feel as involved, because their role, everyone on the team's role, is significant to me. But as the visionary, I do feel like when I get stagnant, it's because I don't allow myself time to do nothing. And for me, as the visionary, having space to some people call it white space, you know, just like empty space. But for me, it's like absolutely vital. I will lose sight of the grand scheme if I don't have that. So for me to like really be rooted in vision, I have to take time, and it feels so wrong. It feels like, I should be doing something. Because how am I doing anything if I'm doing nothing? But it's that time to do nothing, and just for me, I will get in the car a couple times a week, and I'll just drive with the radio on and the windows down, and I just drive until it feels so good, and I don't have a thought in my head. I'm not worrying about anything anymore, and then that's when it hits, and then that is when you're like, oh, that. Okay. Now I'm back, and now I got the vision, and you can take it deeper, and you can take it wider, and you can and then communicate that with your team.
Yeah. Oh my God, this is so essential. And I know that this is something, like you just sharing this, I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah. The second that I personally am disconnected from the big vision and get kind of looped into the small stuff. And I know our mentor, James Wedmer, he talks about like when a team member hands you the monkey, you know, just to like give yourself a visual, people will come to you with a problem, and it's like handing you the monkey. It's like, don't take the monkey. And I definitely take the monkey way too often.
I think all of us do, because as entrepreneurs, we're geared up to help people.
Yeah.
That's what we want to do.
We're like, oh, I can help you figure this out. Sure, I got this. It's like, no. Let them figure it out
Right.
on their own. They have Google too. They're going to be fine.
Exactly. You know, I recently went on what I call my accidental sabbatical. It was a forced vacation. My husband
Uh-huh.
was like, yo, dude, you need a vacation. I booked one, pack your bag, you're going. And I'm like, don't tell me what to do. I'm not going. And he's like, you pack your bag, you're going. And so we went and we spent 8 days off the grid, like on 180 acres of private land, wilderness
Whoa.
on a river, no computer, no cell phone. I was like, I didn't write content to give my team to post on Instagram to act like it was me. You know, like I was just like, peace, brothers. Like if my business is so heavily reliant on Instagram, then I got problems. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I'm going, and I went. And what was really interesting was that I felt like a cell phone that was glitching. You know, like when your cell phone just like the apps keep crashing and you're like, what in the world? I felt like that, but I didn't really realize it until I went on this trip and got all this white space. And I did not think about my business for 3 whole days.
Wow.
Entire days. I didn't wonder what the team was doing. I didn't think about anything. And then I was like, on the night of the third, I was like, Levi, that's my husband. I was like, hey, is this bad? What does this mean? And he's like, no, babe, it just means you needed it. Then on the fourth day, I was flooded with ideas like this. This is what I need to do here. And this would be really amazing. And this is what I want to do. And you know what? I thought I wanted to do that, but I don't want to do that. Like just getting like really in tune. And I called my team, and I was actually only supposed to be gone for 4.5 days. I called my team and I was like, hey, I'm not coming back until Monday. And I stayed 8 whole days. Like we were going to stay there, but I was supposed to come back to work, like just,
Yeah.
grab my laptop and do my things. And I was like, not happening. I'm staying gone. I'm staying
Wow.
here. I just needed it. Like your body needs it. Like we talked about the rest before, in order to be like really great at seeing the vision and communicating that. I think you have to give yourself that time that you need. And we rush ourselves as entrepreneurs. We're like, because I was like, oh, it's the third day and I haven't had brilliance strike me yet. What's my deal?
Where's my breakthrough?
Yeah. Where's my breakthrough? And we rush it. And sometimes you just need to sit in it. It's kind of like pain. We want to get out of the pain so quickly that we tend to we want to go laugh. We want to have a drink. We want to look on social media. We want to bury ourselves in a movie or whatever, because we don't want to sit in pain. But like, it's the sitting in pain, it's the sitting in the discomfort that is what helps you to navigate your way out of it gracefully and to appreciate the dynamic of life, instead of trying to keep it safe and happy. I don't think life is supposed to be happy all the time. I think that's how you learn, that's how you get wisdom, and that's how you appreciate the depth of life.
Oh, so good. And it's so funny you bring this up too. I was having a conversation with a client of mine recently, and there was someone else that she follows who, really was having it, I won't go into the details, but was having a difficult time with their business because they were unable to essentially take off because of how they set up their business. And I'm just like so inspired by your ability to just take off for 8 days. And I remember the first time it occurred to me that like, oh wait, just because we're online entrepreneurs and people say my business is my baby, that doesn't mean you have to be on all the time. You don't have to be on Instagram 24/7. Like I went to Tony Robbins' event and he asked the question that was very profound. What is your exit strategy? And that had never occurred to me before. What do you mean exit strategy? I mean, my friends are like, but this is my business. I'm going to coach forever and ever and ever. But then you're sitting around with people who have, $40 million companies, and they're taking the time to come to this event, and they've got, thousands of employees and multiple businesses, and they're making freaking bank.
Yeah.
And they're not totally attached to every single thing that happens because they put the right people in the right seats.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
That's what's possible.
Yeah. It's yes. And as the CEO and as the visionary, when we get burnt out, there is no vision to go after.
Yep.
When we burn ourselves out, there is nothing to drive our teams. Like, what are they working for? What are you working for? And so when I found in seasons, like I said, we all, or I have these seasons where I go through where I'm like, I'm so clear. And then like, I can only see a month ahead. And then now I can see 6 months ahead. It's always that I did not take white space, and I didn't give myself that because I didn't think I could, or, because people love to embrace the hustle And, you know, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you just, you know, it's all about follow through, and you got to hustle, and you got to get up early. And I swear, if I see one more person on Instagram telling me, like, tooting their own horn that they got up at like 4 a.m. and like, we're on the grind, like, good for you. But that sounds miserable.
Hard pass.
That's not why I signed up to be an entrepreneur. I'll tell you that. I did not sign up to get up at 4 a.m. So yeah, it's just like, as a visionary, I think it's important that we allow ourselves as much creative space as we need. I think becoming a musician helped me a lot, because I've always appreciated creative flow. You know, if I wasn't in the flow to write a song, I couldn't poop out a song if I wasn't in the creative flow. And so I have that appreciation in business. If I'm not in the creative flow, I can't sit and write for hours and hours if I don't have anything to say. And I can't relay a vision to my team if I've been so busy doing all the other stupid stuff that I don't have a vision anymore.
Yes. It's so funny because I come from like theater background, vocalist, all that stuff. So I totally like love that application, because it is so true. Like when you are a creative and you've studied, I think whether it be art or an instrument, I think when you step into entrepreneurship, there's a different level, just a different perspective. I don't want to say necessarily different appreciation, but just a different perspective on like resistance and creativity. And really anybody who I've ever worked with who's been a creative in a previous business or previous like career, they understand flow in a different way, and it really profoundly impacts their role as a visionary. Yeah.
Like if you're in flow, you take everything off your plate and you stay there. You know what I mean? You gotta, everything has to go. I'm in it now. I got to stay there. And if you're not in it, you can't force a creative to create. You know, it's not going to be, or you can, it's not going to be what it could have been.
Yeah. It's going to be like mucky water, but
yeah.
So good. Oh my gosh, this is so amazing. I feel like there's so many golden nuggets, like just really profound things throughout this whole conversation. So I just appreciate you so much.
You're very easy to talk to.
Oh, well, thank you.
Maybe it's because I know you, but I don't think so. I think it's just because you're easy to talk to.
Well, thanks. I would love for people to know where they can like stalk your life, go learn more about your skincare line and all the things, because I'm literally going to go buy it like after this.
You can voyeur my life at on Instagram. Instagram is @FitRockerChick. Everything is @FitRockerChick. So it's fitrockerchick.com, @FitRockerChick on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, all the places. That's what it is. Yeah. And I would love you to send me a message. And I love to be Instagram friends with people. So if you're on Instagram friends, hit me up, sisters.
Yes.
And gents.
There's a couple of gents. Yeah, I was going to say, guys, if you loved this episode, and I know you did, take a screenshot of the show and tag us on Instagram stories @FitRockerChick and @HeyJenCasey, because we would love to just continue this conversation with you over there, hear what your biggest breakthroughs were from today, biggest aha moments, because we just love to connect with you guys some more. So thank you, Erin, so much for being here. I just freaking adore you. You're amazing.
Thank you for having me. Same. I think you are a magical unicorn, and like, just love you so much.
Love you so much. All right, guys, we'll talk to you soon.